All right. This should be good. Hopefully people can hear me. I don't know if there's anyone in the chat yet. Says there are 2 concurrent viewers. So there's got to be somebody there other than me. Now there's 0. Awesome. All right. Let me just throw this on another workspace here. Oh. Never finished logging into Steam, but that's fine. Gonna log into Steam here. People can get my 2-factor code from forever ago now. That's perfectly fine by me. Oh, you know they got the new Steam library in beta now. It's kind of interesting.
I saw something about that.
The performance is really bad though.
Performance?
Like yeah, the pages scroll real slowly and like everything. It's not a good experience yet.
I just don't understand why performance would even be an issue with something like that.
I don't know, but there's a lot of rich detail going on there, and it's a bit of a mess. So, I don't know if anyone's there or not. We'll give folks a little bit of time to start coming in, I guess. You know, probably be better if I started scheduling these things, but I have like 15 subscribers, so all of 15 people would get the notification. Oh well, let's probably do it anyway.
Well, it's more than the number of people that are in there.
Says I recommend using a bit rate of 4,500 kilobits per second. Well, I'm using NVENC, so that's gonna look like garbage if I do that, YouTube. Thanks for the advice, though. Let's see. So yeah, Fedora. The installer was actually, it felt a little faster than before. Like it's still kind of the same process, right? Like it's still Anaconda, it's still their, you know, whatever installer. I don't mind it personally because especially on the desktop version, it's very just straightforward, right? It's like, you know, click this, and you know you just go and like click where do you want to install it? Click the disk, click done, click next, and that's really about it, right? I do like the fact that Anaconda, if you make empty space, like say on Windows or another drive or something like that, if you shrink a partition, if there's empty space, Fedora, if you select the disk, Fedora will just fill that space. It doesn't need to be specified like partition here or that. You can just click the disk and click done, and it'll automatically fill in the space with the right partitions, which is super nice. I don't know if a whole lot of people know about that, but and of course they use LVM by default, which I enjoy. I enjoy LVM. I don't enjoy doing an LVM on my own, like by hand. But LVM by default is pretty good. Just for example, like I put this on. I have three SSDs in my machine. One of them's a small 128 gig drive. Then that's what this is installed on. So let's say for whatever reason I want to keep this disk, like keep this install, I could just put my home folder on one of the other disks, like say, you know, the 1 terabyte SSD, and all I have to do is just extend the LVM volume onto that other disk, and voila, I just got a bigger home folder. Don't have to move anything, don't have to do anything extra. You just extend the logical volume to another disk. It's pretty great actually. And, you know, the kind of geometry of a disk doesn't really matter. You know, like some people have their home folder at the end or whatever. Like logically that doesn't matter. So you can just extend your root partition if you wanted, even though the root's at the beginning of the drive or something, because it's all logically handled. And you can do like if you configure it, you can do like snapshots with LVM. You can do, a lot of other things. And I like that they do LVM by default, which is it's really nice. See, I'm gonna try Risk Rain. Try installing that. Let's see if it wrecks the stream. It shouldn't, because it's downstream, not upstream. Not like it'll take long to download anyway. See, so this is Telegram. I'll toss that another. So one of the things they touted with this release was improved performance and responsiveness, right? And historically, the problem has always been with NVIDIA, like with the NVIDIA driver, and like you get this like stuttering and everything. It's just really bad. Hey Explorer, how's it going? Just checking out Fedora. I'm glad you're joining us. So, historically there's been like some stuttering and stuff. Usually like dragging windows is stuttering, or especially the overview gets really cluttered. And then it starts to just, I'm sure you've experienced it, where it just like stutters and lags out kind of feeling. So I have several windows here that I could try. So I have like Steam, I have, Discord and Spotify and Telegram, and like everything stays, and this is while streaming too. Like everything is really smooth. Dragging windows around is really smooth. Even Electron apps, which historically have been really terrible, like it's such a good feeling. They've really done a good job of the performance on this one, and I don't know how much of that is just GNOME or how much of that is Fedora. But they've really improved it a lot. Let's see. Fedora didn't get it right the first 30 times. What, I think 31 would be any better? Yeah, I could understand that feeling. But I don't know. I've really enjoyed Fedora over the years. I think Fedora just kind of, I don't know. Maybe it's just because Fedora was like my first distro, or Red Hat was my first distro ever, and I use Fedora like the most over my Linux time. But I don't know. It's always been that distro that I just believe in, So, but yeah, so they got some new icons, which is, I know people love their like look and feel kind of stuff, but they got like some new icons, like the document scanner is new, I think. The photos looks more like the Google Photos, at like the Google Photos logo kind of. Let's see, the videos logo has like what reminds me of the Google Play logo actually. But I think it's much better than what they had before. Just various different icons that they've changed. I think Terminal had the CSDs in the previous release, but I can't really recall. But I dig the CSVs for the Terminal, just because that gives me more space for my terminal, right? And, tabs and stuff. It's all good. I remember they were talking about getting rid of this menu up here. I don't know if I guess they haven't figured out how to do that. Because I thought they were going to like add all their stuff into the hamburger menu, but I don't know. Guess that didn't come to fruition. And Fedora, on GNOME software, for those of you who care about this kind of thing, is that a tweaks thing? I don't think so. But see, the spins are actually Docker. You know what? I think I did recall having a problem getting Docker set up. It seemed it was kind of a pain, but You know, we could. I doubt they'll have a repo for 31, but we could give it a try while we're on. Let me see here. Let's look for Docker engine Fedora. Let's see. Yeah, their official ones say 28 and 29. That is kind of an interesting one. They have a convenience script, I'm sure, but I doubt it's going to recognize 31 of all things, much less go from there. Yeah, that's kind of a bummer. It's got to be a better way for that, right? I mean, they have the Docker CE test repo. I think that was what I had to use. So we'll give that a try. So we'll copy and paste things from the internet like anybody should. Actually, set. We'll try the nightly ones. That's going to be a pain for updates, of course, but I think that's the one we're most likely to have. Not yum. Come on, man. You've been doing too much CentOS. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking they only had okay, so test. Let's see. Let's disable those two. Disable. And stable. So, all right, so now we'll try installing Docker from the test repo. Let's see if we can get it installed from the test repo. That'd be kind of nice, but I'm not holding my breath there. Yeah. Nothing provides container DIO. Interesting. That is probably the problem then. Sounds good. So we'll go ahead and disable that repo too, just to not have problems. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know why they only do 20 and 29. What's up, John, Kevin, everybody? I was just taking a look at Fedora 31 here. Kind of curious. I don't think they'll have it in their repos, because I think probably only Arch does, and that's because Arch puts whatever in their repos, I guess. This has always been one of my frustrating experiences with DNF, is having to read. Like, it seems like it has to recheck the cache like every time you breathe.
It updates everything whenever you.
Yeah. So that's So anyway, yeah, it's kind of a bummer. Um, what was the other issue you had? Hybrid graphics. Yeah, I don't have any way to test that, but um, as far as I understand, like Pop and Manjaro seem to be the only ones that really seem to get the hybrid graphics thing. But I don't know. Well, let me see I don't even know what version of the NVIDIA driver I'm running. 43521 is that the one with the prime offloading? I don't know. Maybe anybody who has Optimus graphics would know that.
What are you trying to do with hybrid graphics?
So Eric had mentioned that Fedora had issues with hybrid graphics. And I know they have this prime offloading in the more recent driver. Wasn't sure, what exactly the version was that they added the prime offloading. So
I think we should clarify there and say that it has issues with hybrid NVIDIA cards.
yeah, that's what he's talking about. Yeah. I guess the hybrid AMD would be just kind of whatever, right?
Yeah.
So in the software center, they changed like this tab is called Explore now. I thought that was kind of weird. I mean, this I don't know. It just seemed I don't explore apps, I guess, but they have like this nice little banner up here that's got a little more than just like one app. That's a nice change. But let's see here. Oh yeah. You know what? You're right, Explorer. There's nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong with exploring. um, they have Fedora's always done kind of an interesting take on the GNOME software that everyone else does, and I don't know if it's Fedora specifically or if it's GNOME specifically, but they do have like in their add-ons section here, they'll have like a section for installing codecs. They have a huge list of fonts you can install. They have input for different languages and stuff, localization for languages again, and then they have this shell extension thing, where it'll list like everything from GNOME, from extensions.gnome.org, and it's pretty great because you can actually, like, if you just want to search for something like -to-doc, you can just search for it, and then we'll see if it installs because beta. And so up here, they have the different sources. So in this case, it seems to be pointing to the same thing, but this way you can choose the source. So if you have, say, FlatHub installed, you can choose your source. Well, do I want the RPM or do I want the Flatpak? And that's a nice thing as well. So let's see if this did this work. Oh, you know what? I think it is just the RPM version, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that. My super secret password that I can't type in properly. Let's see, was it -to-panel? Was it another one? Let's see. So this one, if you go down here, source unknown, yeah, that's probably coming from the extensions website. So if we install that, yeah, there you go. So you can install GNOME extensions from the software center. Then you can go into extension settings and you'll see the settings for, in this case, -to-panel. It's an interesting way of doing things. I kind of like it, but no, this is not on VirtualBox. This is actually on hardware. I don't care for VirtualBox or VMs for distro reviews because you don't get any idea how it actually runs, because like, of course it's gonna run in, like, it's either gonna run in a VirtualBox or it's not. Like, everyone's gonna get the same experience. I guess if you're just trying to look at it from that outside view, but that's not generally how it's done. because you'll be like, oh, this is really cool in the virtual machine. Then you throw it on your hardware, and it's like, oh, my sound doesn't work properly, or my video doesn't work, or whatever, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and remove that because extensions are the devil. And so the software center has improved a lot. You can search for flat packs as well. I'm trying to think. I guess GIMP would be a good example of one that so in the top right here, you have the source Fedora, source FlatHub, or the updates testing modular repo. So you can choose between each of these. So if I want the flat pack of it, I can choose FlatHub. If I want the RPM and the repos, I can get that as well. So like, just grab the flat pack. It'll sit there. I don't understand why I haven't got this working. So when you click installing, it is installing. It sits at 0, but it's installing like the GNOME, like the runtime and any of your video driver runtimes, FFmpeg, whatever is needed. And then when it finally goes to install the GIMP flat pack, it's like, oh, now we're installing, right? So it's going to sit here at 0, and then suddenly it's going to be like, oh, hey, we're installing something. And that's not a very good, option. Can you click it to see details? No. Oh, you mean like, what are you talking about? You talking about like the loading bar? Or are you talking about the? Oh yeah, no. It just it's just a bar. Doesn't do anything. So now GIMP is installed and it's all good once it loads, because it's like the slowest loading thing in the world. So yeah, GIMP, good times. So and they have a lot of details down here, whether or not the app is sandboxed, and the documentation's included, and all these other things. You can see the source here is FlatHub. Like, now the install size 307 megabytes. That sounds like a lot, but I believe that's including the runtime, because the runtime is like 200 something megs on its own, and GIMP is certainly not 300 megs. So, and they got reviews that no one reads. I should probably leave a review, like some internet comment etiquette stuff. But it's pretty good. I don't know what you're talking about. Shrooms? Am I missing something? Oh, you're talking about the GIMP loading thing? Yeah. But yeah, it's a pretty good system so far. They talked about the speed improvements in GNOME, and man, they weren't kidding. Like, it is really smooth.
I came to bug you here.
Oh, you should. It's where I'm being bugged.
So
no, you're being bugged.
Will you go to the settings panel and go to the permissions thing for the apps? I think that's one of the coolest things in
applications. Yeah. So
because it showed them to you in the installer, but I think you can actually control them here. Do you see GIMP there?
Let's see. So GIMP, yeah, here we can default handlers, built-in permissions. So these are the ones for the Flatpak itself.
Okay, cannot be changed.
So individual permissions can be reviewed in the privacy settings. So is it in here? I don't think it's in here. I think this is like who gets a camera, who doesn't. I don't understand.
Well, but go into one of them. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
I thought I saw. So I just like the idea that there's this granularity there.
Yeah, and so like the calculator integration here, or calendar integration, disks, like whether they're obviously like GNOME things, right? But for example, the default handlers for Firefox, right? I can, these different MIME types and stuff, I can unset them or whatever I need to. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's one of those sort of we talk about privacy and like what is using different files and what kind of permissions there are, and it's. I think this is interesting that GNOME's really focusing a little more on this. I mean, it's pretty unique. I can't think of another desktop environment that has this. Can you?
Yeah, and I think they can really go far with it. They could add a lot of stuff to it. Like you said, individual app permissions. In this case, they have the built-in ones. These are for the Flatpak itself. Let's see if I go into GIMP here, FlatHub. So I didn't see a button for permissions in here. I don't know what you were referring to. Now I know like the snaps in Ubuntu have that permissions button.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
But the Flatpaks have their own like built-in kind of permissions and stuff, which you can dictate through the command line, I'm sure. But it would be really nice if I could just tick camera and things like that. So,
well, considering Flatpak is a GNOME project, right? I mean, I would think maybe at some point they'll extend it.
So here's like they have the storage for these are Flatpak specific things. So like here in the OBS, the storage is taking up 38.9 megs, and it tells me the application, the data, the cache, and all that. Like and I can clear the cache of data. Like that's really great it works for Flatpaks obviously, but so like GIMP says it's taking up 308. It says the application is 307. Maybe it is big. I didn't think it was that big.
What do you see under Firefox? I'm curious. I know it's not
Firefox
is
not a Flatpak. Yeah. So
I know, but what is it?
They don't list it unless it's a Flatpak. Because that's not exposed. Like, because the Flatpak is contained, so they can have an idea of what's what, right?
So it's really just the data handlers. Okay.
Yeah, for Flatpaks, yeah. But I will say, if I go into the display settings, it doesn't shrink my scaling, which I like. And whenever I reboot, my sound settings are nice and preserved, which I also like. That always just frustrated me so much with GNOME 3.32.
I haven't experienced that.
Well, in GNOME 3.32?
Yeah.
Drives me bonkers, man. So they got the same online providers, I think. I don't think any of these are new. What's this? Like Fedora, though. A Fedora account? What's a Fedora account?
I have no idea. Ubuntu still has the Ubuntu One account, and if you log in, it doesn't do anything. So I'm not sure what it's there for. Maybe it's for some kind of like IDE integration.
Okay. So it's for like developers and people in the community, contributors.
I was right.
Yeah, you were. And then of course they got IMAP and Kerberos logins. Exchange though, that's a big one. People love their Exchange for whatever reason. Yeah, it's not the same as the Red Hat account. No, apparently it's something specific for their project. So I guess I could install tweaks, right? See if there's anything new in there. So I like that it doesn't ask me for my password every time I want to install an app from a repo that I've already trusted. Because I don't, it's so annoying having to constantly type your password in every time you want to install something.
Is it my imagination, or is the Software Center like really fast now?
Oh, it's lightning fast. Like,
that's impressive, because it had not been that way.
No, it was chugging before. I mean, everything feels fast. Like
this is 3.34.
This is 3.34, yeah.
I wonder if that's part of it.
Oh, I'm sure it's a lot of it. Yeah, if Linux could just crack that AD nut, then it'd be good. So this is normal. Themes, I guess this is all. So they got rid of the enable dark mode thing at the top. I think they're trying to like move to apps enabling dark mode. Let me see, like my favorite GTK, if I could type, my favorite GTK music player, which I will get from FlatHub because I want the best one. Is Lollipop, and they do have a little button for dark mode. In fact, I think Lollipop is like one of the like premier GTK experiences. Hey Rocco, how's it going? Because they implement a lot of the good stuff of GTK, like the responsive design, the dark modes, a lot of the integration with the shell. Like Lollipop is top tier GNOME. Like it's really good. So go ahead and launch that. Yeah, sure. I'm gonna enable network stuff because I want to steal music from the internet apparently. So in here they have use dark theme variant. So it uses Adwaita's dark theme just by default. So instead of having like a global, like everything is dark, each app would do it, or presumably in the future they could have like a toggle thing which they could, schedule for, just like they use nightlight and stuff, schedule it for a certain time to go into dark mode, or things like that, which is pretty good. So yeah, Lollipop is really good. Let me see if I can find some. That's something I don't like. I don't like having to type my password in to mount one of my hard drives. That is annoying. So we'll man, I'm trying to remember where I put everything in this drive. It's so cluttered. I should do something about that one day. Here we go. So we're gonna go ahead and put this in the music folder. Let's see if, there we go. So with Lollipop, like, you get the nice album view and everything, but this is a great fun experience. I'm gonna turn it down so I don't get copyright strike. So when I'm playing, you got the bar up here with the progress and everything. And then if you like resize it, it moves to the bottom. So like this is how it would look on like a Librem 5 or, some kind of phone versus like, a desktop experience. So it's nice and like responsive as an app should be. And just those little touches, those little touches make a big difference.
Oh yeah, actually I saw that they had said that the settings panel was also responsive. If you sort of shrink it around.
Let's see. This tweaks settings. Oh, that is nice. Like that is smooth. That's pretty neat. That's pretty neat actually. So like so I guess now it's more like a phone would be, right? That's again Librem 5, I guess, that's kind of what they're going
even
for.
better than the point is that it's adaptive and responsive to whatever the screen size, which is that's really cool.
Yeah. And not just available on the phone is what you're saying.
Yeah, so if you had a tablet device, if you had a phone device, whatever screen size, it's going to be usable in any of those factors.
Yeah. Yeah, this is kind of neat. So, I wasn't aware of that one. I know they had said something about the music app, the GNOME Music. Is that available in? I think it was just called. Yeah, there is GNOME Music. We'll try that. And I know they said they made some changes to that one. Yeah, I'll grab it from FlatHub. I'm sure that's the latest one, right? Probably not. See. Oh yeah, still launching full screen. Yeah, 3.34. All right. So that is a bad use of CSS. That is not responsive. So
Well, maybe try the native one then.
this is the native. This is
Oh, I thought it was Flatpak.
oh yeah, I guess I could try. All right. Yeah, let me I mean
It's probably
it's
gonna
the
be
right
same.
version,
Yeah, it'll probably be the same.
probably. Let's see, Fedora. Installed MX Beta. Oh yeah, I guess that was the yeah. I'm not really doing the distro, am I? No, it looks like it's the same issue.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe
Yeah,
some work to
they're
do
both
there.
the same version, but one's a nice convenient flat pack, and this one removing it will probably rip out all of GNOME. So yeah, but I know they made those changes. So even still, like Lollipop's still kind of the best. Cellular. See, I like MPV, and that's never heard of celluloid. But I guess it's Fedora 31, so you got like newer packages as well. So I believe it's kernel 5.3. I don't know if you guys can read that on the screen there. So we got 5.3 by default. So I guess people with the new AMD 5700 and 5700 XT would just be able to pop them in here and use them, because 5.3 added support for those. So that's kind of neat. Let's see. I missed some of this. So what is the takeaway feature? The takeaway feature, Rocco, is definitely GNOME 3.34, and the fact that this thing is so smooth, like probably smoother than Pop Smooth. Like it's really smooth. They got a little issue down here with the dock though. I noticed that. It's not resizing properly. Maybe it's because I did the dash to panel thing, to be honest. But let's go back into tweaks. I removed it. Yeah. Okay. So dash to panel. That I like. I like being able to search from the search and install like apps from the from the search, which I think KDE does with Discover as well. But like dash to panel here. What was the K status notifier? Yeah, that's for those of you who need a system tray. That seems to still work now. So
What is with the mixed light and dark apps? The apps themselves are setting that?
Yeah, so the apps themselves are setting their own mode. So like Lollipop, I went into and actually told it to use the dark variant.
Okay.
And so instead of it being like use a dark theme, it's taking Adwaita and using the dark version of Adwaita, as opposed to like applying its own CSS, its own theme. Which is kind of what the elementary guys were always getting at as well. They want a dark mode, kind of like how the Mac has. Like it's the same basic styling, but with just the darker colors and more like appropriate colors for the same controls, as opposed to something like Yaru or any of the stuff Manjaro does, or any of these others that take it and just completely go nuts with it, and then all the apps are kind of inconsistent. And yeah, but I like that approach better. Spotify, yeah, I'm listening to Dashboard Confessional for those emo fans out there, and I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate all of a sudden, but who cares?
Why would you get hate for listening to music you like, man?
Because that's how the internet works. How long have you been alive? So
Not long enough to have my faith in humanity dashed, apparently.
Oh, stick around, buddy. You're going places. All right, so I love terrible music also. So I'm gonna try. Now this is a desktop capture, so I don't know how this is gonna go. I usually do window capture, but I'm gonna try to play Risk of Rain for a second, just to see how the performance is. I fully expect screen tearing and all kinds of wobbly wackiness, so bear with me. Like I said, I usually do window capture, but we'll see how this goes. If it plays, it plays, right? Oh, my cat's meowing. Good old McGee. One day it'll play. Oh. Installing all the Windows stuff. I am without Patsy Cline. Oh, that's an interesting icon. That is a crash. Let's try this again. This is the latest Proton. Oh, okay. Second time's the charm, right? Yeah, McGee's been a little extra today. He's been kind of a bad cat lately. So just try. I'm not gonna play a full round or anything because I'll be here for like an hour playing this. I just want to see the performance. And let me know if you guys detect any kind of tearing, or I think I kind of see it. Yeah, there's a little bit of tearing going on there. At least on my screen. Do you see it on the stream?
Yeah, there's a little bit, but it's not bad.
Actually, you know what? That's because I'm not V-syncing the game.
I mean, I'm a peasant with an old card anyway, so I'm used to it.
Yeah, so this should be better with the screen tearing.
That looks good.
Yeah, it's really smooth.
Did the tearing disappear?
Yes.
Awesome.
So this is a 1080 Ti?
Yeah, this is the 1080 Ti, 8700K. I'm actually doing this with NVENC streaming at 12,000 kilobits per second, 1080p. But I'm running the game at 4K.
Is this the 418 driver?
This is 435.
Oh wow. Okay. Did you manually install it, or was it?
Yeah, I did it through RPM Fusion. Though they actually have a repo that you can enable. All right, so we've tested that. So they actually have an RPM repo you can enable. If you go up here to software repositories, when you first start software, it says, "Hey, do you want to install these third-party software?" And you say yes. And then in here, you can go in and enable a repo for PyCharm, Google Chrome, the NVIDIA driver, or Steam. Now, right now, these last two don't work because, beta. Once they release, then RPM Fusion will push to those repos. And this is an easy way. So once you have that enabled, you can't do it now, but you could just type in NVIDIA and the driver will show up in here and you can install it like that. You don't have to go to RPM Fusion at all. You don't have to go to an extra driver utility. It's all just built right into the software center. And also it gets added into this add-ons thing. There'll be another tab that says like additional drivers or hardware drivers or something like that. So
I saw that green with envy thing. Have you used that at all?
Yeah, I actually have. Have you used it, or?
I haven't. I looked at some screenshots, but I never really.
Go ahead and install it. You can see things. It won't show much because not playing a game, or you wouldn't be able to see it if it was. So, like how my internet kind of slowed down there. Hopefully my stream's still going good.
Yeah, it seems.
I don't think it's my internet. I think it's the server. FlatHub. If you're gonna be the #1 place for flatpaks, you need to up your game on the infrastructure, man. Like big time. So, yeah, this is green with envy. So you get the GPU percentage. Now this number is very interesting. This GPU percentage, because on GNOME 3.32, even when you're idle, when you're not in a game, this is 100% all the time. And that could be why there a lot of the stuttering had happened and stuff, because it was driving the GPU hard, and like every so often my fans would like spin up for a second, just for a second, and then they cool down, and I think it's just because it may not have been at like boost clock or anything, but it was using the GPU like hard on 3.32, and now this is half, sitting at 50%. Now it's still kind of a lot, you know, all you're doing is drawing a desktop, but you know, but you can see like power draw for your device. My limit's 250 watts, and yeah, it'll get up there too. So on here you can like adjust the power cap and stuff. Not gonna do that. You can see the clocks.
For a pre 1.0 release, this is looks like a pretty polished piece of software.
Yeah, definitely. And this graph should. This is the fan profile thing. I don't have cool bits enabled, so I can't adjust like fan profiles or overclocking or anything. But you could do that easily enough. But you have like the shutdown temperature 96. Slow down. I guess it'll start throttling at 93. Sitting at a 54. 19% fan. I mean, it's a great little app. I mean, they really did a good job with it.
Yeah, that system I'm rebuilding, I'm gonna I'm gonna reuse my 970, and I'm curious to see like maybe try something like this.
Yeah, so they put an app indicator at the bottom here. You can see the temperature of the device.
Is that
here.
from Green with Envy?
That
or
is from Green with Envy, yeah. So,
nice.
I mean, you can close the app, but this will still be running. So then you can just show hide app window. So once you launch the Flatpak, you can, you know, it'll stay running to keep track of everything. Let's see. I know people are probably interested in the resource usage. Now, I have a ton of stuff open. I'm using about 8 gig of 16. That's with a lot of stuff. Oh, you see my panel. Like, there's some stuff open. And I have a bunch of tabs in Firefox on the second monitor you can't see. So,
I know.
And OBS is running too. So,
I'm really impressed with. I mean, everything you launch just seems to pop up very quickly, and the animations seem just unbelievably smooth.
The animations are really smooth, and that delights me inside like no other. And also the speediness. Now this disc that this is on is an mSATA disc. Like it's not NVMe. It's just it's an SSD, but it's not a special like fancy fast SSD. It's just some like bottom of the barrel 128 gig mSATA SSD. So it's probably slower than my Samsung SATA SSD is, to be honest, but like everything loads up really fast. And I am super impressed by it. Like this this is some next level performance, and this is what the GNOME guys should have been doing from the beginning, but I understand that's easy for me to say, right? I'm not a dev or anything. You're running 6.3. Awesome. Yeah, so 6.3.1.2 there. Good old LibreOffice. What else is installed on this thing? Yeah, I tried to get the Epic Games launcher installed. I had some issues. Probably just the dependencies I didn't install because I didn't go through the whole wine install. What's in utilities again? So they have the automatic problem reporting, which is a Fedora thing. And I already submitted a couple bugs from some crashes that I had. Popey. So, yeah, these are all pretty standard stuff. It's nice that they have their own like partition manager thing. I like that tool. And of course, you know, workspaces still work just as always. So I'm pretty
John was asking which CPU you have.
Oh, I have an Intel i7 8700K, so 6-core 12-thread. Yeah, so it's Intel Core i7 8700K. What are those tools? NeoFetch or something like that?
Yeah, you can do like NeoFetch or Inksy,
Inksy? I'm not
INXI. Yeah, it's a pretty good one.
INXI? I doubt that's going to be in the repo. It sounds too fancy.
It might be. It for a
Wow,
while it hadn't been.
that's some dependencies for NeoFetch.
Yeah, maybe try Inksy.
Yeah. I'm guessing I spelled it right. Oh, it's just a bunch of Perl stuff. That's fine.
Cheese bacon.
Inksy. Yeah. So there's the specs. Okay. So yeah, it is overclocked to 4.7 on the CPU there. And then memory. Now I have 16 gig in here, but that's 16 gig of like 3200 megahertz. I have 32 gig of RAM sitting on top of the machine. I figured I'd get more out of the faster RAM when I'm playing games. If I need 32, I'll put it in there.
If you do Inksy dash space capital F, it'll show you everything. So Farron was disappointed by the
by the Inksy readout.
by the stock output.
Yeah, there's a little more for you. Yeah, so it looks like my CPU is sitting at 51. Not bad. Which, I got to be honest, I'm kind of disappointed in my Corsair H100i. It's like a dual fan, like a 240 millimeter radiator water cooling thing. And I swear, if I just put a Noctua in there, I'd probably get better cooling than this thing. I'm really disappointed in it. Now I can like ramp up the fans and the pump and everything, and it'll push, but it's not good.
Are you aware of situations where water water cooling is really truly an advantage? I mean, I don't know. The Noctua coolers just seem to do as good a job. So
after my experience with this, I honestly think unless you have like some really custom coolant and like a custom loop that's optimized for it, like if you just bought some off the shelf closed loop, nah, it's not worth it. It's definitely not worth it. Not in my experience. Like a DH15 or whatever they're called. Like, just get one of those. So yeah,
that's what I've had for years, and I mean it's got the huge fans on it. It's super quiet.
Yeah,
and the temps stay in the 50s usually.
Yeah, so this is running two 4K monitors. So this is scaled to 2x. They don't have fractional scaling for Xorg. They do for Wayland, but NVIDIA.
So if you were Team Red, you could be rocking the fractional scaling.
I could, yeah, but I'd also have terrible frame rates and horrible compatibility and a lot of problems. Oh, did I say that out loud? Oh, sorry guys. Yeah.
Would you, that withstanding?
Yeah.
Would you benefit from less than 2? I mean, would you run like 1.6 or something? Or?
I used to run 150 on Windows and on Plasma, but my eyes are not what they used to be, man. Like, my eyes are just not what they used to be.
Well, I have to think 2 on a 4K monitor is probably a good.
Yeah, it's basically 1080p at this. It's like a 27-inch 1080p monitor, but because it's scaled properly, it doesn't look like 1080p's 27-inch. It's like the text is a lot crisper, and then when I play games, I get a game at 4K. Right, the game doesn't scale to 1080p looking. It's just 4K. So
speaking of which, what I usually don't love the default GNOME fonts. What fonts are they using on here?
The font. Let me check the tweaks tool. That would probably tell me, right?
Yeah.
The font. I guess fonts. Still the
on the left,
Cantarell.
Like the fourth one.
Yeah. Still the Cantarell, but I know it may not come across in the. It may not come across in the stream, but it looks really good.
Okay.
Like this, I can do the subpixel, and it looks slightly better, I think. Things are a little easier, a little thicker, I guess. They don't look as thin with the
Yeah, Jason Evangelo did a little quick post on that about how turning on, or no, it was part of his podcast, one of the podcasts, just enabling that subpixel and slight.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it looks stellar. Like, it looks amazing. There is a dark theme, I think, so you can do the add way to dark and like turn everything dark. So obviously like Telegram's not gonna care because it's Telegram, but all the GTK stuff, Firefox, secret sauce, that turned black. But the terminal was already black. Settings isn't, so they do have a dark mode, which is pretty cool. But I'm a light Adwaita kind of guy. And if it needs to be dark, it'll be dark. But I prefer it to just be light. I've grown to enjoy light themes.
It makes me happy to hear you say that.
Command not found for C matrix, right? But we can tell it to install C matrix. So I know this is a tool that's available on other distros as C and F, but I like that they have that installed by default. So if you type in a command that you don't have it installed, it'll be like, "Hey, you want to install this?" and you can. No, it's not a matter of the blue light or anything. It's just a matter of I just can't read small text. The light's fine. Does anyone here use light theme on their terminal? No, I couldn't stare at like a white terminal. I don't know that it's not that I have any problem with light themes or anything, but that's not what I associate a terminal, right? So like they do have a light. Oh, that's a lot of white. All of a sudden, I wasn't ready for that. So this is the light terminal.
It hurts.
Yeah, it's really not a pleasant experience.
It's really unpleasant, yeah. I mean, I don't like light, I don't like dark on everything, but yeah, terminals have to be dark.
Yeah, so terminal just has to be dark. Like, I mean, there's only a few rules in life that you really have to follow. Use Vim and dark terminal are the two. But yeah, just don't. Yeah. It's pretty good stuff though. I'm really impressed. So if anybody has any questions, now would be the time.
So what I know you've installed a bunch of stuff, but like does Fedora come with a ton of apps installed, or is it pretty bare bones?
It's actually, so as far as apps go, it's actually pretty small. It's not super minimal. Like you still get the Office suite and utilities and stuff, but it's fairly low on that. A lot of what makes up Fedora is like the back end stuff. A lot of the the tooling and stuff that comes in it.
Like Office suite, like
it comes with like LibreOffice and all the like. I'm not used to the panel.
Probably all the GNOME apps.
Yeah, not all the GNOME apps actually. They still choose like Rhythmbox over GNOME Music as an example. So like, GNOME maps. Let's browse the Congo. Wow, that zoomed in really quick.
Yeah, that's usually super slow.
Yeah, so let's I'm not gonna try to pronounce it because I don't want to be culturally insensitive. But
I'm a pretty big fan of the GNOME apps. I mean, some of them, I think the world clock's a little like unfinished, and there's some that aren't like as nice as the others. But I think some of them are.
Let's check out weather. Who wants to see the weather in Atlanta? It's 81 and few clouds. I like how they didn't want to count them. They're just gonna give me. There's a few. We'll go with that. But
No, it means there's only 3.
oh man, it's gonna be nice 80 for the next couple of days. Oh, we need it too. But I'm not here to talk about the weather. But you can check places, I guess, like Las
Yeah,
Vegas.
I actually do that because I have family all over the place, and I usually will add like clocks for them or weather.
Yeah. So it's kind of for those of you in everywhere else. Yeah. So yeah, it's 27 degrees out there, Mitchell. It's get your jacket. Hollow Knight is amazing, John. $14.99 is more than enough for it. Like that is a good price. Like Hollow Knight is great. Yeah, program. Yeah, so I think that's probably I guess they have boxes, right? They did some improvements to boxes. So you can connect to a remote, create a virtual machine. Okay. Each box is runs on this computer or connection to an existing. Okay. So here you can choose to install they have a lot more this time. I don't know why you'd want 1904 server, but sure. You know what the heck? We'll try to install a server real quick.
I've not had good luck with boxes, and maybe it's just because I'm not running it on
boxes has always been kind of crap.
Well, so I think some people really enjoy the shortcutting, where it just sort of does things for you. But I guess maybe if you're not on a GNOME-centric system, like it just, I'm not sure. It just never seems to work for me.
Yeah. So Farron, as far as beating Hollow Knight, I have yet to beat it. I've gotten fairly far into it. I do have the Void Heart version though, so I do have the DLC. My super secret password. So customize. Yeah, let's. You know what? I'm kind of low on the memory front right now. I'll give it 30 gig. I don't have my 32 gig in there. So I'll let it run its course.
The other thing
I forgot music was playing because I couldn't hear it.
The other thing that they supposedly improved that has always bothered me is their wallpapers, where you can select from outside of just your pictures folder now.
Oh yeah, so I kind of wanted to. I'm not running the normal stuff here. So I wanted to test that. Where's settings? They said something about like wallpaper previews now. Was a thing?
Well, I think it's preview. So they say custom folders in the application overview. Oh wait, no, that's the wrong one.
So like if I.
Oh, background section settings have received a redesign, making it easier to select custom backgrounds.
So set background and lock screen. So what are these displays for? That's what I'm curious about.
Is it for each of your monitors, maybe? Like you can set them independently?
Oh no, this left one is the desktop, the right one's the lock screen.
Oh. I think maybe the add picture is the new, or is that not new?
Yeah, just add. Yeah, you can just add from any arbitrary folder now.
Yeah, there was like a hack you could do before, like do a link or something. Can't remember what it was.
They have not gotten new wallpapers yet.
Their selection's not that bad though.
Nah. Awesome. Yeah, it's nice that like I can just like browse to a storage drive and like pick something else. I'm not gonna go in there because there be dragons, but yeah, don't go into a man's storage drive, right? Yeah, Hollow Knight and Tetris 99 is pretty neat. I'm terrible at Tetris, so I'm usually like, the last person to win at Tetris. But Tetris 99 looks really neat. Let's see. Yeah, so let's see if did I miss something? I don't know if I did or not. I know everybody was commenting me on the weather. All right, well, it's getting about that time, so I was gonna see if you guys had any last minute questions that you wanted me to answer. Oh wait, Boxes was running. I kind of wanted to see if that finished, but so I'll let you guys ask questions while it slowly downloads. Gigabit is a scam. You never get full gigabit.
Well, it's the other side of the connection as well. I know.
It's fine. It's actually really great because you have 3 adults in the house, and any number of 4K streams could be going on, and we're still good. Assuming it's hard to saturate it. Assuming it isn't Comcastic, and it starts to crap out on us. But so this is actually I'm gonna test this because I've had the previous boxes when you leave the VM, it crashes or like hangs or something. So it's nice that it doesn't hang yet, but there's also no X server running on the VM, so we'll see. Game suggestion for a quick but decentish indie game: Spark the Electric Jester 2. Yeah, what's a game?
Well, Risk of Rain is an indie game, isn't it, or no?
Yeah, it is. It is. And Risk of Rain 2 is pretty awesome. I think it's like $20, I think, on Steam, and it works on Proton like no problem at all. Like there's 100% the same performance I get on Windows or better. Like no graphical issues. No, it's almost like the guy was like, "Hey, I'm just gonna release it on Windows, but it works on your stuff, right?" Like, there's no problems at all.
Did you see that Jason Evangelo tweeted out that there was a second Linux-specific fix for No Man's Sky, even though it's not a Linux game?
Yeah, correct. There was like a fix Linux driver issue or something.
Yeah, I love seeing that.
That's great, and that's ultimately the whole point of Proton, right? Like the developer doesn't have to make a Linux binary and target Linux libraries and stuff, but they want to make a platform where you can write your game in such a way that it plays well in Proton.
Well, not just well, but you've been playing Borderlands 3 and it actually plays better in some cases?
Yeah, in some cases, yeah. And Borderlands 3 is probably the worst example because Borderlands 3 runs like a dog, but like in general. But yeah, I mean there are other games. Trying to think. Like I played Diablo 3. I've streamed that, and that runs perfectly fine. Overwatch runs perfectly fine. I've run Subnautica from the Epic Game Store, and that runs fine.
You have to think that game devs are going to see that, right? And just say, like, if you're getting equal or better performance on Linux with almost no effort on their part.
With no extra work.
If they did have to do a couple little things like driver issues and stuff like that, I mean, it's such a minimal ask on their part.
Yeah. And
it's very encouraging.
And that also incentivizes like AMD and NVIDIA to do better on their drivers to better support these games and their stuff, right? I saw something about like 5.4, the kernel 5.4 is supposed to have some stuff to improve the DirectX 11, the DXVK performance inadvertently. I'm sure the kernel guys don't care anything about games, but it's things in areas that aren't specifically games that are improving the performance in games, and it all just kind of comes together. And that's awesome. Like
it's well, and I think the potential is that that could reach outside of gaming, right? I mean,
correct,
you're showing that the hardware. Repent says he can't get Overwatch to run at 240 hertz though.
Almost. Yeah, it's what kind of hardware would you need to run Overwatch at 240 frames a second? And there's some games, in Proton that require a little bit of extra work, but work, right? So like Borderlands 2 works on D9 VK really well, but you have to jump through some hoops, copy some files, rename some stuff, but it works really well. And another game was Strange Brigade. It's a fairly new game. That game runs stupendously well on Linux. All you have to do is like rename a few. You have to rename a few files and move some stuff around, which for the average everyday person, that's kind of a big ask, right? They just want to press install and go. But the fact that it works at all is pretty amazing. And again, if the developer understands like, hey, people are going to be running it on Linux, they can write it in such a way that these aren't required to be renamed or something, right? Like maybe the problem with Strange Brigade is the launcher is black. You can't see anything on the launcher. It's just a solid black color. But if you rename the binary, it launches right into the Vulkan version. So it's written in Vulkan. It works really well. But it's just that one little hang up, right? It's always those little things. And I'm not sure what the launcher is written in, probably some .NET thing or whatever. But it could be something simple, it could be something complex, and a lot of regular people won't jump through hoops, but I think a good number of gamers are savvy enough that they could do it. These are the people that install complex Skyrim mods and stuff. It's like I think you can figure out how to rename a binary and move it.
Well, and if we see more developers at least claiming compatibility, maybe not guaranteeing it or supporting it, but claiming it,
yeah,
then if they're at least running through and testing it, then they're going to find those kind of weird things and probably just fix them.
Yeah, John, that's Ubuntu for you. That's apt doing its thing. Doesn't help that it's installing through the server installer instead of just copying the image, but this is what Boxes gave me, so I saw it installing LibreOffice, so I thought this was a server, but maybe it's not.
Could be the full install.
Yeah, I think it might be the full
the
install
desktop.
through the server installer.
Which would be very strange.
Yeah, and as you can tell, it's completely asinine and like pointless because we could just be copying like the image and be done with it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
so
you were able to show like
it works.
that it wasn't crashing and
Yeah,
stuff.
that's the key. It just worked, right?
Did you do anything on the dashboard with rearranging? You can just
no, I
arbitrarily
didn't.
rearrange stuff.
That's is that a thing? It doesn't look like it's a thing. I mean, you can
Supposedly.
make folders.
Oh, well, they say that. Okay, custom folders. Oh, it is custom folders. Okay, I thought it was.
I didn't think you could rearrange. I thought it was just just
Okay.
folders.
Okay. But that's nice.
Let's see. I don't know.
I used an extension for a while to do that.
Yeah, app folders, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know like how to rename the folder though.
Is it a right click maybe?
I tried right clicking it. It's not like F2 is usually the Nautilus.
I would expect to maybe see like the title pop up somewhere larger than just the bottom of that folder. Maybe double click the name.
No, nothing. I'm sure there's a way. It's just haven't I just don't know what I'm doing, right? But yeah, you can arbitrarily stuff things together. Cause see, like when I hold down on that, it goes that. But so now
I'm just reading the release notes. They're not giving up on the GNOME web browser.
yeah, they're really not. But
Just seems like a waste of effort, personally. I don't get it.
Oh, it's finishing the installation. So installed all the packages. We'll see what it does.
Games, the GNOME Retro gaming application now supports multiple save states per game.
I did want to try that because I do have some of them there stolen games. So let's boot Ubuntu real quick. In boxes. Repents, I have a 1080 Ti, an EVGA 1080 Ti. Yeah, I tried right-clicking the title as well, but so this is boxes. The performance is actually not bad. I don't know. I mean, you can see it's not native, but you can see it's not slow.
It's actually not bad.
See if I can watch a video in it. Oh yeah, gotta love the ads, the long, the loud ads.
The video is actually really smooth.
Then I probably chose the worst to show that on.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah,
the ad itself was super smooth.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Can you install Fedora 30 VM inside your Ubuntu? What? Look, man, let's not get crazy here.
Inception.
It's VMs all the way down.
I mean, there's badgers in there. Is that not enough? But yeah, that's like this performance on here is not bad for a VM.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. That I asked about everything I could find in the notes.
Yes, I was gonna try games and then okay. Games. Let's get the flat hub because I'm sure that's the latest. GNOME's actually really good about giving you the latest stuff in flat hub, which is nice because you can get the later, okay, so it already detected risk of rain in there. Let's make sure this is 3.34. So I'm gonna put this over here for a second while I search in my super secret stash for a video game. Don't sue me, Nintendo.
Copyright strike coming right up.
Yeah, thankfully they stopped their it doesn't like being 4K. It's actually a really terrible performance.
It does look pretty bad.
I kind of wonder why.
I don't know.
Is it like specifically Super Nintendo? Let me try grabbing something a little.
Is that resume feature the new thing?
I'll look at the save states in a sec. I saw the thing in the bar there for save states. That folder is empty. I'm not a fan of that. Oh, you know what? I think I know why. Because they're all zips. Because that's what you get when you sail the 7 seas. Let me okay. Sorry guys, I know this is riveting action. Let's see.
Maybe if you can mouth breathe into the mic a little bit.
ASMR style. It might be like the fact that this is 4K. Cuz like Oh yeah, I forget there was actually no sound in this game, right? Like in the intro.
It's okay. It's probably better for the copyright.
Yeah,
I always thought that was pretty trippy.
controllers. Let's do the keyboard. Let's configure the keyboard. Whatever. Joystick. Yeah, screw this. I can't configure a joystick on a keyboard. You know what? Actually, I'm stupid. I have a controller plugged in. It says right here, Xbox gamepad. Yeah, let me try resuming that. I forgot I had a controller. I love it. Aw, snap. This is running better, but not much better, but a little bit better. Could be any number of things I'm doing, like streaming and stuff, but nah, I just ate my words, but yeah. So see if there's any like smooth, sharp. They have a CRT filter, but I'm sure that's not going to help it. No. Yeah, so they got some work to do. Yeah, I'm not sure if it is trying to do like upscaling to the crazy monitor, but there's a lot of stuff in here. But yeah, so games is kind of neat. I guess the save state thing we were talking about is this little like slide out, so they make some auto saves for you, and you can create a new save state and manage them that way. So I can like reload back here, or load that one. And it's actually a pretty neat little thing. But yeah, so that's GNOME Games. Well, good times. If anybody has any last comments or anything, I'd be free to say something.
Well, thanks for doing this and doing an overview, because I was genuinely curious to see, and it's amazing to see how fast that performance is. And
yeah,
yeah, good stuff, man.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So I appreciate you guys showing up. It's been a good times. Last impressions, dude, it's good. I'm a big Fedora fan. Like, this is probably the best I've seen Fedora in a while. This performance is out of this world. So I'll probably be keeping this around for a little bit. I know the distro challenge is MX, but I rarely ever do the distro challenge anyway. But anyway, so well, thank you guys for showing up to the stream, and it's been a fun one. I'm glad you guys maybe had some fun too. So I'll catch you guys later.